Hello. Hey Leo. It's March 9th, 2024, around 12:25 p.m. local time. I'm in Taipei, Taiwan, and I got this really beautiful view behind me actually. I just have to cover it up because of then I think it gets a little overexposed here, but and I have to check out of this hotel in like 5 minutes. But anyway, yeah, I'm in Taipei. I'm here to raise money. I was here for a IC meeting for one of the investors here. We're finally getting to the close. I can see the end of this fundraising round. It's been a very long journey, I would say. We started this process a few months ago, and the markets are not very good right now. So trying to raise about $7 million is not the easiest thing to do right now, I would say. But we've powered through it. And I guess I wanted to just record another State of the Self because I haven't done these in a while. And just talk about different topics and just do a brain dump. And again, the main purpose of this film is to archive myself and what I'm thinking into like a slice, right? So like in one person's life or in my life, I think there's multiple different, if you just take a slice, take like a date of any point in my life, right? Like 2015, 2016, and just take a slice of that and record it somehow, then I think that would be a good use of, or it's like a way to sort of like remember myself and how I can compare sort of like how I've changed and how I've grown. And yeah, so it's just part of the whole film is doing these random segments, and hopefully over time there's a lot of change, but there's also, well, I guess that's sort of the beauty of it, right, is you never know what's going to happen. And I said that I still remember when I first sat down and recorded take one of this live film series, and that's exactly what I said, is no one really knows what they're doing, and I'm sort of going doing things as I learn, and it's beautiful that you can't really see what's going to happen, and I still believe that. So of course, if I look back at 2019 when I first recorded these things, 2018 I guess, of course a lot of stuff has changed, but also not a lot of things have changed. So anyway, point is, I just wanted to do this to capture another slice of my life in the long, hopefully, more events to come. And yeah, what's on my mind right now, first and foremost, HELIX and Hypersonic, and raising money for this to extend our runway. And we're really close to being able to launch the product and initially get users, but yeah, there's always delays. Things always take longer than initially expected. So I would say though that the last few months have been pretty stressful and a lot of like load on myself. And if I reflect back at the last couple of years, I haven't really been able to creatively express myself as much as I used to. And of course, it comes with running a startup, and it's a lot more responsibility now. But I wish I could, do a bit more of that. So I've been trying to get my art started again, or going again. And I know I've been doing the Minjoon series, and I just started that, and I have like about 4 paintings completed, but I want to of course make a lot more. The initial idea was that I would make about 2 or 3, or at least 2 of them per month, and that was the case with the Set Park paintings. But the Set Park paintings, interface paintings, have stopped production for like almost 2 years now, and I also want to get that going again. So I'm kind of putting those things into motion. I just can't quite like get all that started until this fundraising stuff comes to an end, and also we have this big launch coming up. So that would also be interesting to look back at this a couple months later and then see how that launch has gone, because I'm really excited about, the whole team is excited about it. And yeah, so in terms of the creative expression side, I've also been thinking about the Maker project, and for a while I thought maybe I should make it into like a duo or a collective, and I think the end result is, I think I'll keep it as a single character. And yeah, maybe I think I can just tell people that I don't have to actually even tell anyone, but in my mind I think that it's mostly a collective, right? So instead of Maker just being myself, I am representing it, but it really is it's like a whole collective and a group of people that are working on this thing together as a team. So we got like the in-house production team, we got the in-house marketing team, and the technical artist department, and the artist department itself. So it's really a lot of people's work at once. As I was getting a little anxious about, okay, like if I make it just one character and I'm embodying it, then little too much for me to handle and all these things. But I think I got it figured out, and I'm pretty excited to get that going as well. I've been making a lot of, or executive producing a lot of music for a while, and I have a big catalog right now. And so I think we'll start with just making some videos and putting them on TikTok and see how they do. And yeah, the Minjoon, I finally got the webtoon up on Naver Webtoon. I still have to sort of translate it to English, but I'm pretty proud of that. This whole backstory of Minjoon and how he's webtoon, or he doesn't realize that he's from a webtoon, but he is, and then he somehow ended up in real life. And then to remember his past life, he starts drawing, and then those drawings end up being, these paintings that I'm producing and uploading under the Minjoon account. So for that one, I expect to stay sort of anonymous, or even if it is sort of, I don't know, revealed or whatnot, I think I'll just keep in character, because that is the whole story. So I want to, as much as possible, keep that. But of course, in essence, it is myself, right? Or it is like an alter ego, and I want to keep it separate from the Sebastian Park aspects of it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to get that webtoon out, and it's mostly just to show people the backstory. And so I don't really, as of right now, I don't have plans to making like multiple episodes of it or to make it into a story. It was just like meant to be a one-off thing. But if there's positive reaction, or maybe if I feel more creative in expanding the lore, then I think that's something I can explore. And I'm just excited to start production again and get more of those going. The Seb Park stuff as well. I have huge backlog of paintings that I want to design and create. Might be experimenting with a new technique to produce those paintings, so if I succeed in that, then I should be able to make them a lot faster. And what else is on my mind? So yesterday when I was doing the IC at the Taiwanese VC here, they approached it from a very, very founder friendly, like very personal perspective. And I remember, I've done a lot of these, like dozens, if not over 100 of these, maybe hundreds of pitches, right, to VCs and meetings. And they were the first ones that actually asked like very personal questions. And it was really interesting because yesterday for like over 30 minutes or an hour, I just talked about my life, the origin story from when I was born to like how I got into startups and entrepreneurship and all these things. And they asked very detailed questions. So I guess that got me just thinking about this a bit more, and I thought I would record it when it's fresh in my mind and the trajectory it's going. But anyway, it was a very pleasant experience, and I'm very glad to have them on board as investors in our company. And it's also interesting to see the company sort of mature a bit more. And this is something I started in 2019 with Shanna's help, or with Shanna's investment. And it was just myself at the time. And for the next couple of years after that, I just worked with various different partners and tried a bunch of different things. We made a bunch of different apps and websites and services. And eventually we settled on HELIX. And it's now grown into what we have today with more than like 20 people. But it's like with Series A, it's like when the company actually starts to mature a bit, right? So we got a board of directors, and we have more money now in terms of like what we're dealing with, more payroll. So it is a little bit strange looking back that it started with just one thing, and then now it's what it is. Who knows what's going to be, just in a little bit as well. So the vision that I have for Hypersonic has never changed from day one, and it's to create like amazing products that merge the cutting edge technology and wrapping it in intuitive products such that it could genuinely benefit people's lives. So I think with HELIX, it starts off as just a role-playing based open world, game that's extremely moddable, but I think that's like phase one. So ultimately, it could really become more of a social platform. I think when we start to live more of our lives in virtual space, identity will become a lot more fluid. And I think I talked about this before as well. But I think it just allows people to be who they want to be, and appearance starts to matter a lot less. And I think it will help people be less lonely. That's still something I struggle with a lot, and at some points it's a lot more worse than others. Sometimes it's better, but ultimately I still think I'm like a pretty. I still feel this, what do you call it, like sense of loneliness around, and I think that products like HELIX could actually solve that. So assuming that with hardware we also catch up and we move to that next generation, instead of flat 2D screens, that we move into more of immersive displays and immersive experiences, then I think that we could really cross that bridge and we could live really more of our lives in that sense. But I still value like physical, world, physical connections. And thinking back at that as well, I guess what else? So we talked about Helix a bit, how far we've come and how much more we have left to go, and then we got the music part. Oh yeah, and then yesterday during that talk, I reflected back on this whole concept of wanting to tackle like 5 different things in life, and I think I came up with this when I was in New York, when I was pretty young, around like 19. And the 5 areas of interest that I had that I really wanted to achieve mastery in independently were business, technology, music, art, and film. And I still feel that way. I think film is still sort of like the later stages, but I still very much have a lot of appreciation for that. Business and technology, I think, have always been sort of grouped together because I've been working with tech startups for a while. Music is about to come. So like art and music, those are things that I was really genuinely like. Art, I think, came a little bit first, but music, like everyone, I grew up listening to it, so I think it has a lot of influence. And now that I'm in a position where I'm able to actually make them with very talented people, that's what I'm really excited about. So I guess all this comes down to the theme of this year, which is, I think, distribution. So every year I have these yearly themes where I pick like 3 words or 4 words, and I have a reminder set on my phone that it like reminds me every single day. And then before I dismiss that reminder, I have to sort of like actually individually think about, okay, am I in line with these themes? Sometimes it's easy to blow it off, but I'm really trying to be careful about like actually thinking about it, right, before I swipe it off. And for this year, it's discipline and health and I think wealth, and last one was distribution. And if I had to just quickly go through them. So discipline, I wanted to set more of like a routine for myself, and I think as a creative, I tend to really be a night owl, so I would sometimes, my sleep schedule's always messed up, and I always focused the most at night, so I would go to bed at like 5, 6, 7 a.m. Sometimes when it got bad, I used to just live upside down, right? So I would go to sleep when the sun rises, and then like wake up and it's already sunset. So I've gotten better about that. That was like more so when Helix was really, I was preparing a lot for that back in 2022. So now I really try to go to bed before like 12, at least, like ideally 11, and I've been trying to wake up a bit earlier. So even today, it kind of helps with jet lag sometimes if I travel a lot. Like today I woke up at 6, yesterday I woke up at 6, and I work a bit, and then I work out and try to read. So like all these things. So that's part of discipline, is I really want to read more, and I really want to work out more and just be healthier. So that translates to health part, right, before anything else. Health, I think, is super important. And wealth in a sense of, I'm not talking about just like financial wealth at all. I think I'm talking about wealth in terms of, I guess it ties into the whole campaign of trying to read a lot of books. I think I want to be very wealthy in the sense of like memories that I have and the knowledge that I have. And instead of just doing the same thing, the same motion over and over again every single day, I would like there to be an actual like improvement over time. So just changing like 0.1% or 0.2% every single day, improvement over time just compounds. So yeah, I've talked about this before as well with wealth, of how I define that. This financial wealth definitely helps being able to make these bigger memories, but I truly think that I, for one, before I pass, before the shining star fades away or whatever, that's a book that I've been reading of Steve Jobs. Everyone has like an arc, right? Every story has, every life has an arc. What I'm saying is like within that, while the star is burning bright, I would like to gather as much memory as possible and have as many people that I love and be loved, and make amazing things that outlast myself, and then, when the time comes, fade away, I guess. But anyway, I got kind of stuck there with the wealth part, but that's what I mean. And then with the last part, distribution. So I think in the last few years of my life, I've done a lot of work in making things, and especially with Helix, it's just been 2-3 years of just straight up building, and no one really knows about us yet, and it's because we haven't really done a ton of marketing outside of the initial sort of focus that we had, and that's being spun off or something. So I think that this year I would really like to focus on the marketing and distribution part, so that people can actually see what we're creating. So this applies to like everything, not just with Helix, but with my artwork and music and whatnot as well. And I think in the back of my mind, that's always been a source of frustration, is or feeling sort of underappreciated in a sense, and maybe that's like entitlement. And perhaps, yeah, I mean, maybe it is, but I really do feel that, um, like frustration sometimes of, and this I've felt this way with art more than anything else, about how I think that what I'm creating is, I mean, there's substance to every piece of art, but it's when I go to the galleries, when I go to the art shows, and I show them about it or whatnot, it's like being dismissed about it, and I wouldn't say it hurts, but I would say that it's just frustrating is the right word. That they don't even give a chance for someone to explain, or maybe it's just because they get inundated with so much of these things. But as an artist, it is sort of, yeah, frustrating to have that happen. And with music, I just haven't really tried to get it out there, so we'll see. But again, this year, that's what I'm trying to focus on. And hopefully I get some help from other people to do so instead of doing everything myself. And this is an epiphany that I had a few years ago, which is if I just let myself, if I'm the only one involved in a particular project, it's not going to do very well, because just with the nature of myself, I tend to just hop between a lot of different things. So in order to actually have something get legs and to grow and to be something bigger, I need to have a team involved with it. So with HELIX, right, like if that was just myself in the beginning with the prototype and trying to get it out there, there's definitely no way that it's what we have now. It's now the result of a lot of people. So with those other things, even if it's at a smaller scale, I think that I should definitely have either a partner to start it with, like a co-founder or like a part owner or something, or another way is just to have a team. Like even if I have to pay for, or even if I'm like paying for the payroll or to keep someone on salary just to get something out there. So I just hired someone to help with the social media part for my artwork, across both Minjoon and the Sebastian Park accounts. So hopefully that works. So I just told her, hey, like you do all the analysis, like you like tell me what to do, right? I'm gonna focus more on the creative part and the production side, and then on the distribution and getting exposure of it, I would hire someone that has way more time than I do and way more experience and knowledge in this field. So that's what I'm pretty excited about right now. Hopefully finally this year, all this work could be seen by other people, and people can sort of like understand the story behind different projects. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be very nice. But even if it doesn't, I think I'll continue to create, because that's still what brings me joy. But it will be more motivating, I think, if it's understood like that. Yeah. I like my trip here. It's very short, but the people here are very friendly, and that I see experience with someone else, definitely. I'm looking forward to working with those guys. And we're so close to this, getting this thing closed. It's just, there's a couple hiccups that are coming up, but I think it's gonna work. I wish I had sometimes I wish I had a co-founder from day one for Hypersonic. And there's certain reasons why I didn't have it, but and I have co-founders for HELIX, which is good, but they haven't been very involved in the fundraising process. So it's been sort of a lonely road and lonely ride there. That probably means I need to leave. Okay, well, I'll come down. I got everything packed, so I'm just gonna head out now. So, in conclusion, 2024, I say this every year, but it's gonna be a good year, and great things are gonna happen. And even if it doesn't, then there's always next year, and the year after. I think everything sort of happens for a reason in that sense. You just have to make the most of what there is. The whole part of the theory of, I forget what I named it, but the realization that I call it the chill theory, which is basically that every event that happens yields like there's no negative or good things, positive things that happen, it just happens, and it yields like a single kinetic or potential energy that is neutral, and depending on your perception of it and how you view it, it could either turn negative or positive. It's really up to the person, and of course it's very hard to say that if it's a very, very, very big bad event that happens, but I think I'll try to when I've had something bad like that happen, and it really hurt a lot and at our time, it was very hard to, I guess, think of it. It doesn't even cross my mind, that theory, but I guess looking back at it, yeah, man, I think I've tried to make something positive out of it, out of these situations, but you never know. But I think this year it'll be different. I hope so. I hope to make my mom happy. It's I see photos of our family 5 to 10 years ago, or maybe even 5, and I see that my mom looks quite different, I would say. And it's maybe the hair and 참 힘드셨구나라고 생각 들더라고. But anyway, that's getting a little sidetracked. But yeah, I think it'll all be good. And an interesting question that I had yesterday was when I was explaining all this stuff. The person asked me, why do you push yourself so hard? Or he said, why do you challenge yourself so hard? Why are you so hard on yourself? And no one has ever asked me that. And actually, another question that he asked was like, are you doing this? Do you think you're sort of doing this to make your dad proud? So I had mentioned certain things about growing up, all these different things that my dad had pointed out, and to be Mount Rainier and all these things. And I never quite thought about all these things. Like it kind of like jarred me a bit. I couldn't really speak for a while, but it made me think, like, is that what it is? I think part of it is probably what it is, but yeah, besides that, I would say the other part of why am I being too hard on myself? I've never really felt that way. So the answer that I gave him, and I think this is still frank and honest, is I never kind of thought of it as like being hard on myself. I think it's just in my nature to sort of like do these things or make things. It's maker. I make things. And if I was dropped into any situation, my mom used to always say that too. If I was dropped in the middle of a desert, I'd find a way out, or I'd find a way to like make things or make friends or figure it out and survive. I think I don't know where that comes from, but it made me think about that a bit. And I think it really just is in my nature. I don't know how that happened, but I just like making things and creating things, and it's nice if I'm able to get money out of it. I also told this too, because the conversation steered a bit more towards like my life story and stuff instead of the actual product itself. I said, still, don't get me wrong, like it feels weird saying this in front of potential investors, right? And of course I have a fiduciary duty as a CEO to return, maximize the return on investment for these investors. But I told them that, yeah, like of course, like money is nice and doing all these things is nice, but I just genuinely care about what we're creating. And I said that's the difference between, I think, Hypersonic and me as a founder, is I really give a shit about what we're creating. And so yeah, should probably get out of the hotel. But that was State of the Self of March 2024. I'll revisit this pretty soon, and hopefully we'll have more distribution this year. Wait, check out this view though. Isn't that really nice? Huh. Look at this makeshift, this is the stand that I used. I don't know what this is. I think it's like an ironing board. Anyway, bye.